Hello, bonjour. I want to welcome you here. My name is Denise Willerton. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in East St. Paul, Manitoba, Canada. Remember, I can't even talk here. Sorry. Welcome. That's the word I was looking for. Welcome to the December bundle tutorial. So we are Stampin' Up! Demonstrators from around the world. I'm so excited that you're here. I have a Z-fold card to show you using the Ranunculus, what was it called? Ranunculus Romance stamp set bundle. And so, you know what, without any further ado, let's get to this. Let me just set my camera up here, and I totally forgot to do this properly before I went live. So welcome here. You know what? I would be so honored if you would subscribe to my YouTube channel while you're here. So you are going to start with a standard A2 card base, okay? So that's 8.5 or 8.5 by 5.5. You're going to score at 4.25, which is your halfway mark. Now, when you're doing a Z fold or a fun fold or a Z fold, whatever you want to call it, sometimes we overthink everything, right? It's like, where do I score again? So you're going to score at 4.25. You're also going to score at 6.5. Now, if you want to remember how to always do these Z folds, all you're going to do, if you don't want to score again at 6.5, fold your front flap over to meet the edge or your already scored edge of your card base. Hold that down, give it a little bit of a score with your finger, and then you know what? Burnish that with your bone folder, and easy peasy, there is your Z fold or your Z fold. Okay, so it's that easy. So the next thing that you're going to want to do, let me grab all of this, is you're going to grab your Eden dies, okay, and we're going to grab this one. So remember, this guy came out quite a couple of years ago now. You're going to grab this edge and you're going to put it just along that side there. Now, if you're afraid that that's going to move, all you're going to do is grab some Post-it note tape. So if you peel or rip a little piece off, put your die down on this edge, okay? And you do want it on the front side of this flap. You're going to oh, I can't talk here this morning. You're going to line up this design right with the edge, okay? Put your paint or your Post-it tape down. I used to use painter's tape, and I was consistently ripping my DSP and my cardstock. So I realized that painter's tape was actually a little bit too strong. Now you're ready to go in, okay? So when I put this in my cut and emboss machine, it is a little bit hard because you're working kind of with a, let's say, a straight edge. So you know how you kind of get that clunk thing? Don't worry about it. Nothing's going to break. But what I like to do when I'm doing a Z fold and when I am working on just die cutting a small edge on the side, I go over that one clunk, but then I come back. I don't continue going because you will continue to kind of press into your paper. So I pre-did this. If I can find it, where did I put it? I know it's here. There it is. So as you can see, a little bit, well, maybe you can't see, but a little bit of my cardstock has been pressed a bit, but I just went to this edge and then I came back right away. So there is the beginning of our Z fold, okay? Wow, that was a mouthful. Let's remove that. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to grab, and all of the dimensions are there for you, but I want to walk you through this. I grabbed the, what was this called? This is called the Brushstroke DSP. It is lovely. So I grabbed the Brushstroke, and I want to actually put that right behind here. And this way it's going to accentuate that. So I want to make sure that I've got the beautiful side up, the back side. There's not a whole lot on it, but I love it that it's so subtle that it doesn't really show. We're going to put a little bit of adhesive on the brush stroke, but we're not going to go right to the edge. So for those who do follow me, and if you've been following me for a while, you know that I'm a fan of the silicone mat. So now we want this behind here. I don't really need adhesive where that design is, although if you really want to, you can. But I personally don't think it's necessary. Okay, I am going to tuck that in right against that score line and just give that a little press. Now, if you wanted, you could go right to the end with that. So that would be 6.5 rather than the 5.5 that I chose. Okay, and I did that on purpose. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do, but I want to walk you through this for a moment. I'm feeling really nervous this morning. I don't know why. So we've got our DSP now, okay? But I want to show you how I did this because there was a method to it. So this is the Sunprint DSP. And in that bundle, this is the beautiful piece that I chose. So what I did was I cut 5.5 right on the onset because I know that's the depth or the height that I want for my card base. So once I cut the 5.5, and this is providing that if you are planning on doing kind of, what am I trying to say here? A lot of cards. The word has escaped me. Oh, I'm having issues this morning. I did not have enough coffee. So again, you're going to cut at 5.5. Now you've got this whole design area available for you. And I just cut 2.5 again and again. Assembly line. That's the word I was using. I often do assembly line because I will teach. And so I need to make sure that I've got my kits ready for my class. So here is my 5.5 by 2, and I know that that is going to go down right here. Okay. And you know what? I just realized I actually did not cut my brush stroke 5.5, and I wanted to. So I didn't follow. Anyway, do as I say, not as I do. So here is the design part. I know I want this at the bottom and that at the top, okay? Let's get some adhesive on that. You can use whatever adhesive you like. And again, for those that follow me, you know that I readily grab my Tombow. And so I'm going to close my Z fold just so that I can kind of eyeball about 1/8 of an inch on this side, as well as 1/8 of an inch right where my score is. This other one, 5.5 by 2, and I want to place that right down here. So let's get our adhesive on that. When I put this one down, I want to make sure that I'm not butted right up to my score line because my card is not going to close as nicely. So again, I am eyeballing my score line and the edge of my Z fold, like so. And now this is the third piece, and that's going to go right down here. And I see that it's just a smidge wide. I want that stitching to show, okay? So I'm going to cut that down just a smidge. Let's see. probably about 1/8 of an inch. So what did I have here? Yeah, I've got 1.5, but you know what? I think I probably want more. So I'm just cutting off 1/8. And let's see. There's my 1/8. Let's see if I want to snip off another 1/8 of an inch. Where am I in conjunction to? Yeah, you know what? So that should have been one end. Where am I? 3/8. So 1 and 3/8. I will make sure that I change my dimensions on my PDF, because I do want a little border of my basic white showing on either side, and I for sure want to see my stitching. Okay? Excuse me. And I see that my blade needs to be flipped around. Got a little bit of a jagged edge there. Okay, now there's no design on this, so top or bottom doesn't really matter. So I'm eyeballing my stitched line and my Z-fold flap. Okay, so now I want to put a little design on that. So we're going to grab the Ranunculus flower. I like to put DSP and packing tape to make little handles for my magnet, as well as my window. Let's grab the Ranunculus. I love this stamp set. And you know what? This stamp set actually inspired me to plant a Ranunculus in my garden this summer, and I did. And it was gorgeous. It was not Night of Navy, but it was kind of, what would I say? It was polished pink. It was beautiful, absolutely stunning. I dug up the no, they're not called tubers. These ones are called combs, because they kind of look like a claw, actually. And I dug those up, and I'm going to replant it in the spring. So I'm going to grab my Night of Navy. I am going to adhere, or not adhere, I'm going to ink it up. Ink it up. And did I do, yeah, I think I went far enough. I didn't really want the stem, and I wanted some ability to write, so I on purpose stamped it that way. I'm going to grab my pressure tool. This is my preferred way of stamping. It saves the heel of my hand. My girlfriend made this, and she does sell them if you are interested. So there's my Ranunculus on my card. And you know what? I always say, let's clean that off. I always say no naked envelopes, okay? So let's just go ahead and do our envelope, because our card is really close to being done already. I always stamp my envelopes. And we're going to do what we did for the inside, although I want a little bit more. Let's pick that up. Put my magnet down. Ink that up. Pressure tool. Sorry if I'm shaking. My table is not really sturdy. So there is the Ranunculus. And yes, I do have blocks, and yes, I do stamp with blocks, but my preferred is always my my Stamparatus. It just is. I call myself a Stamparatus snob, so it is my go-to. Definitely my go-to. Okay, get that tucked away. Now I have pre-stamped and pre-cut the same Ranunculus for the front of my card. So there it is. And the Ranunculus Romance actually comes as a bundle, or a matching die set anyway. And while I was taking this out to cut, I noticed this leaf and I'm like, I have to do that. And I'm going to do that with a silver or a gold DSP, because I think it'll look stunning. And now, there it is. Let's get some dimensionals behind that flower, because I for sure want dimension. Take your pick tool. There we go. I don't know what that was. A thread from something. Put a little one right there. So I will make sure that I change the dimensions of that, of the brush stroke. Let's remove the backing. Get that onto our card. And we're going to place that about here. And then I grabbed the, what is this called? The Starry Sky Metallic. Is the name on this one? Metallic Woven Ribbon. And I do have a ribbon maker. Where did it go? Oh, I must have tucked it away somewhere else in a different spot. It's not here. So let's just make a bow. So you're just going to tie like you normally would. I love my ribbon maker. I did a little bit of revamping in my studio, and I must have decided that I wanted it somewhere else, which was not brilliant because it's handier to have it close by. But there is my bow, easy peasy. Grab my nice big scissors. Let's all go on the sandbox and let's beg for these nice big scissors to come back. They are my favorite. I want a little glue dot, which, oh, there they are, I think. Yeah. And I'm going to roll that up. I am going to roll that up just to make it smaller, because I want it to be just like a little gob of glue, just like that. We're going to put that behind the bow and put that on the stem of the flower. And last, but certainly not least, let's get our much loved holiday rhinestones. And let's get those placed on our card. Let's get that little runaway one. And no rhyme or reason as to where they go, whatever is pleasing to your eye. I love to work in threes. I think it's the rule. It's the rule of threes. And let's put that one right down there. Okay, so there is your card with your matching envelope, no naked envelopes. And that's it. Super simple, super quick. The design paper basically does the work for you. And if you follow my blog post or my newsletters, you will see where I say trust the paper. This is what I mean. Just trust the paper. It does the work for you. Thank you for coming by. I hope you had a wonderful time and enjoy all of these tutorials that we provide for you. Thank you very much. Have a blessed day. Bye.